This is awesome.
This week I made and installed the benches that are in the doghouse, which make 3 living spaces inside the doghouse, 2 quarter berths, and a salon that is above the water. It's a really fun project, and I'm really excited to show you how it turned out. My name is Matt. Follow along as I turn Duracell, the legendary ocean racing sailboat, into a comfortable cruising home. All right, so I had to mock up this bench before I started building it just to make sure that the angles of the seat and the seat back are exactly how we want them. I basically made it an extension of the bench that's in the cockpit. It's a little bit higher. The seat is not as wide, but otherwise it is feeling pretty good. Don't forget there's also going to be 4-inch thick cushions both on the seat back and on the seat. And so you'll get great visibility from up here, just everywhere, all over the place. I'm gonna go ahead and start building the real benches now. Again, I built an easy form to make the shape of the benches. This will keep the angle of the seat back to the seat consistent over the entire bench. I cut these isosceles triangles and fastened them to the table in line so that I could glue and laminate both benches at the same time. So this is my setup to build the benches that are going to be installed in the doghouse. As you can see, I built kind of a little jig thing that will hold the seat backs for both benches, both sides of them. And these pieces that I'm using are just offcuts from the walls that come up to make the bottom of the bench, basically. They were exactly the right size, so there won't be any waste from these. But that's how it all goes together, and what I'm going to do is glue them together and then fiberglass tape them all together along the seams, and then they'll be ready to install. There will be a little shelf on the back side above the bench too, which will have to be built later. But yeah, it's a pretty simple project, and hoping to get these installed maybe tomorrow.
So I have a question. How do you know when these benches are built that when people, say 4 people, sit down on a bench, it won't break? Like, how much engineering went into these benches?
Honestly, at this point, what it comes down to is intuition. I've gotten comfortable with the materials, and I'm dialing in what I know they can do. Especially with the help of Evan, who is the naval architect and engineer that has been helping with the project. We don't even usually do any math. We just talk about the scenario and decide what we feel is best. In this case, I wanted to make sure that the bench won't break with 4 people sitting on it. Evan pointed out that bums sitting in seats are not necessarily a high or concentrated point load, especially where there are cushions. The foam pieces I'm using are the offcuts from the sides of the engine room, making the inboard walls of each quarter berth. This is the 1-inch thick PET foam and already has a layer of 17-ounce glass on each side. The pieces cut are exactly the right size to make into benches, both the seats and the seat backs, almost as though it were planned that way. Evan pointed out that I didn't even really need that thick of foam. I could have used 1/2-inch thick, but this was already the right size, so I used it. Given that the shape of the bench is already an L-shaped beam, glassing the back to the seat makes it very stiff, especially where the 2 planes come together. The depth of the seat is only 20 inches, and the inboard edge will be supported the entire length by more fiberglass, so you sickos can get excited for that lamination session as well. This morning I'm going to do the outside corner. And then put them in the oven. Maybe this evening or tomorrow we'll get to fit them in the boat, which will be really exciting. And when it comes to how much fiberglass was necessary to tape these pieces together, we decided on 3 layers of 12-ounce biax, or in my case, 2 layers of 17-ounce biax, which is what I carry, and the tapes taper from widest on bottom to more narrow on top, as always. While the benches cured in the oven, I took care of yet another important little lamination. The forward bulkhead that makes the end of this bench has a couple big holes cut in it. That bulkhead could be supporting a lot of weight when the bench is loaded up, so we'll add a little reinforcement on the bulkhead just above the opening and below the bench.
Just another Saturday night at 9 p.m. What you up to?
Just party, a Saturday night party. Boat party. Lamination party.
Lamination sensation.
Lamination party of one. This is the window where somebody will crawl into bed, into this port side quarter berth. The bench above it comes down pretty close to the top of this window. And so I'm just reinforcing the top of this so that, you know, when there's like 4 people sitting on this bench, it's not going to crack this bulkhead right here at the top. So I'm just doing a reinforcement before I wrap it with fiberglass.
That's convenient. It's the right width.
It is. It's very convenient. We have mentioned before that we are very aware of how much fiberglass and epoxy we show on this channel. To you, it may seem like that is all I do, which is mostly true, but every time we make big changes like adding bulkheads, cabinetry, or benches, it creates about 100 other small projects that are even less interesting than the lamination, like sanding and fairing, cleaning, organizing, planning, and preparing for the next lamination. But seeing the big changes happen in the boat keeps me motivated to trudge through what can be a monotonous project at times.
I just got a bunch of epoxy in my hair for our viewers' information.
Yep. She's taking one for the viewers.
Getting one of those close-up lamination shots for you all.
Uh-huh.
So I might have a bald spot from now on.
No! Crap.
I'm gonna go rinse my hair with vinegar.
Good idea. I've got both benches made. And so we're ready to fit them into the boat. All I'm doing, I've got blocks screwed to the walls inside the doghouse so that we can just set these in place. We're just fitting them for now. There's a whole bunch to do around them, and so we're just taking them out to see if they fit.
This is an exciting moment.
I am very, very excited to see how these are going to look. This is like, this area of the boat is kind of one of the, I say often, focal points of the boat, and so I'm really excited to see how it looks and how it feels in there. Before we take these up, I am going to weigh these. I know a lot of you have been asking if I'm still weighing stuff, and I do as long as I remember to weigh them. I do a lot of estimating for my weight reports. Yeah, if I can remember to weigh them, I do, because it's important to know the weight and balance of the boat as we're putting everything together, especially for the keel modification when it comes to that. Make your bets.
What's your bet? Say it quick.
33.
It's cheating.
Yeah. Cool. 27 pounds. 12.2 kilos. Not too bad.
That's like 2.5 inspectors.
Yeah. Sweet. Let's go grab the other one.
Doesn't quite fit.
It's just a little tight. I gotta do just a touch of trimming. Cool.
It easily stands. It's easy to get up on the bench. This is awesome. This is like everything you promised. It feels so good. It's gonna be so awesome sitting here at anchor, just with all the light pouring in and seeing out over the water. So your head fit?
Oh yeah. So you have to be like on my tippy toes to. My head still doesn't touch.
And your knees are straight?
Yeah. It's 78 inches, so 6'6".
So a perfect spot for night watches. It's kind of a nice sleeping spot too, because it angles like a little bit in.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like nestle in here.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get to get a sense of what it's like in the quarter berths.
Mm-hmm.
So remind our viewers what space this is going to be.
Where a double bed will be. The bottom of the mattress will be here. The top of the mattress, I think, will be about this dotted line. At the shortest point where this corner is here, where the seat meets the seat back, the overhead height will be like 2 feet, which, like looking at it now, it looks like plenty of overhead. This will be a really cool sleeping area.
Really spacious. I don't think it's
surprisingly spacious.
It's not going to feel cramped at all.
No. It's way bigger than I thought it was going to be. But it'll be interesting to see how it changes once the bed is in here. But yeah, feels great so far. I think it looks really cool. So you want to see how the other quarter berth looks?
Sure. It's cozy. It's definitely feels tighter than the other side, but we knew that would be the case, and we don't mind, and we like it. And it's awesome that we'll be able to sleep 2 people in here. So yeah, like, this berth you won't be able to stand up in, but you'll just climb into your bunk here. And here there feels like there's plenty of headroom to get into the top and bottom bunk. I think it's going to be really great, especially at sea for ocean crossings, which is what you designed it for.
Exactly. That's not bad.
I think a lot of our viewers think it's going to be like a really claustrophobic space, and we're concerned about that in the comments. But we don't mind a cozy space. They should have seen our guest berth on our old boat, Louise.
Yep.
My mom referred to it as the coffin.
This is palatial compared to that.
Yeah.
I'm even thinking about, if you stand back a little bit, look at the door. I'm even thinking about opening this up a little bit, just like add an extra 10 inches or a foot outboard. Just it would not be the shape of a door. It'd be the shape of like an R kind of. But just like get more light in here and everything, because there's not going to be an actual door on this opening. There'll only be a door into the changing area. One thing I've thought about for a while is having a rail down the center of this walkway, and the rail could be like this high, and it would also have a footrest down the middle of it, but it would serve a couple functions. It'd be a good handle, like handhold for when you're coming down into the galley. It would be a great place to make a table out of. There's a lot of boats that have the tables that fold out, and it would also be a footrest when you're sitting here.
Would it be removable?
Yes, it would be. There would be, I imagine there being a couple sockets in the sole, and it would just be like a stainless staple. I think it would probably stay in place most of the time, but so the sole will also be removable, because we'll need access from the top down to access the batteries and the motor that's underneath. There will also be access from the side in this starboard side quarter berth. But yes, the whole thing could be taken out, but I think it would stay in place most of the time. So I think that's something I'm going to do, is just mock up something that might work and see how it feels. I'm mostly concerned about how much space there is on the sides to walk by it.
Yeah, it seems like the crucial thing.
Mm-hmm. It's incredible to see these benches and doghouse take shape. I've been thinking about this space for years now, and I'm very satisfied to see it come together. Coming up, after the benches are permanently installed, there will be painting to do in the quarter berths, and then we can start building the changing rooms that are attached to the quarter berths. Thank you again for watching. Happy holidays, and thank you so much to our Patreons. And maybe we'll see you next week, unless we decide to take Christmas off.